Hello, everyone. I'm Juna Colyador, and you're listening to The Green Lens. In this podcast, we journey through stories that open our eyes to the realities of our environment and the people who dedicate their lives to telling them. Today, we step into the world of environmental journalist. He is a storyteller who has walked through floods, typhoons, and forest trails to capture the voices of the unheard. Through his reporting, Stanley doesn't just document environmental changes, he gives it a human face. From the mountains of Sierra Madre to the flooded shores of Laguna de Bay, his stories remind us that climate change is not just a global issue, it's a personal one. Behind every statistics is a family, a community, and a life shaped by the forces of nature. The Green Lens is about stories that inspire action, compassion, and hope. So join me as we listen to the voices on the ground and see the world through the lens of one of the journalist's missions to make a difference. This is the Green Lens. Our special guest for today is none other than Mr. Stanley Gahete, a multi-platform journalist and educator and a communications specialist whose work bridges the fields of media, development communication, and public awareness. With extensive experience in broadcast, print, and digital journalism, he has produced stories for both local and international outlets, including Deutsche Welle of Germany and Balitang A to Z. His reporting often focuses on climate change, disaster resilience, and community empowerment, highlighting voices from the ground and emphasizing ethical, fact based storytelling. Beyond journalism, Stanley is also an educator at the UP or University of the Philippines, Los Baños, where he teaches data journalism and development communication. Through this program, Green Lens, he combines his passion for environmental advocacy and responsible journalism, using storytelling as a catalyst for civic engagement and sustainable development in the Philippines. Hello, Stanley. It's so nice to see you once again.
Hi, Mr. June Acolyador. Thank you so much again for inviting me to share of course, my teaspoon of experiences, my insights, and knowledge. So I do hope that all our viewers and listeners uh, will also learn from our discussions for today's topic.
All right. On your personal motivation and field experience, what inspired you to pursue environmental journalism? And how has your perspective evolved from covering stories in different parts of the country?
Actually, that's a hard question because environmental journalism or being an environmental journalist is not by choice, but it is because, how can I say this? By, I guess, not by really choice, but because that's my duty to serve the public. It's one of my duties actually. So if I could remember way back in 2016 or 2017 when I'm working in the media for more than a decade, but when I was trying to apply for a news reporter role in a one of the largest TV networks in the country, I was asked by the head of news what beat or what story beat or news beat that I really want to cover. While I am, I'm into politics, into economics, into numbers. But I decided to share my answer by saying I want to cover environment. And that particular head of news was in a way surprised because environment is really not in the top of the line when it comes to coverages in the country, because aside from it has several issues to tackle, its complexities, it's not that, I'll discuss it later. It's not that a priority, a kind of priority in the Philippine media. So, but I have the heart to cover this because I believe that environment, climate change, and even science are important elements of knowing better our lives, our world, because we won't discuss politics, we won't discuss economics if our environment is suffering, if environment is, you know, um uh degrading. So that's actually my one of my one in a way one of my passion things when it comes to the field of journalism, because only few people are really into this kind of reportage.
Yeah, so you've been doing this for the longest time. Can you share one field experience that changed how you view the relationship between people and the environment?
I guess the one of the in a way one of the most um memorable stories that I covered was when I covered the onslaught of Super Typhoon Karding in the Philippines way back in 2022. It's one of the hardest, and during the time it's pandemic, so it's really hard for, for a local government unit, for example, to mobilize people. It's a different kind of social action. So I covered that particular place in Aurora. It's called Dingalan, and some parts of Dingalan are, covered by Sierra Madre. So it's one of the most memorable because when I tried to interview some experts, they said that they are fighting for the rights of the environment. So that is something that, it changed my perspective. Because when you are trying to just to understand how things work, how policies are being implemented, but this particular organization is fighting for a right that is an abstract right, because they said that our Mother Earth is a living one. And Mother Earth, since it's a living thing, he or she has the right to live properly. So that's something, if you could understand those particular lines, oh, tama, no? May karapatan. And yung mga tao na naniniwala sa karapatan ni Inang Kalikasan ay tunay na ipinaglalaban. So, siya ay isang buhay na patunay na dapat may karapatan din ang isang inang kalikasan. And that changed my perspective na, oo nga naman, bakit ang rights ba ay human rights lang or sa mga hayop? But in reality, actually, Mother Earth has also right because tayo din yung sumisira sa kanya. So, it really changed my perspective on how I view the world, on how I want to, cover more stories about it kasi it's 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 really, i- it's one of the most important things na dapat pinapahalaga natin as human beings. Yung kung ano yung tinitirhan natin.
On a personal note, I get that your story, you somehow got emotionally involved with the story that you're doing. In moments or in times like this, how do you handle this when you report environmental issues, disasters, or catastrophes that becomes emotionally and ethically challenging, wherein you yourself get emotionally involved?
Well, you don't need to, to always show your poker face. You're also, you finished journalism and you know what objectivity is. And as long as you are objective in covering this kind of stories, I guess yung emotion ay magiging parte siya kasi ikaw ay nakaka-relate. Ikaw ay nakakaugnay. Nauugnay mo yung sarili mo sa reality. Kasi kapag hindi ka nakaka-relate, mararamdaman mo yun na masyado kang malayo, hindi mo naiintindihan yung tunay na nangyayari sa ground.
Mm-mm.
So it's
Mm-mm.
okay to be emotional as long as you set aside your emotions and you still continue the objectivity in storytelling. Because at the end of the day, you're still human 'di ba? Hindi naman pwedeng sabihin na, 'di ba, yung sinasabi, yung old principle na dapat ah, hindi ka hindi ka nagkakaroon ng emosyon, isa kang, matigas yung puso mo. Hindi siya nangyayari lalo na kapag nakikita mo yung mga biktima, makikita mo yung mga katawan ng mga namatay because of landslide and all. Imposibleng hindi ka mahabag, imposibleng hindi ka maawa dun sa naiwang pamilya. So, human being ka hindi naman ibig sabihin pag journalist ka wala kang puso. Naiintindihan mo, pero dapat isineset aside mo yon at inilalagay mo sa sarili mo na may mga taong accountable for this. And kinakailangan maging responsible sila doon sa mga nangyayari ah, sa, sa, sa reality.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. You mentioned earlier about objectivity. You being a journalist, a practicing journalist, how do you balance storytelling and scientific accuracy with the stories that you handle or with the stories that you write about?
Actually, nagra-ride in with each other naman yon, yung the way, yung how you do storytelling and yung scientific accuracy. Tinuturo ko nga sa mga journalism classes na yung even the speed and accuracy, while in today's time, the accuracy, while yung gumagamit tayo ng social media, for example, nandun yung speed, but still yung accuracy yung mas nauuna pa rin. 'Di ba? Kumpara magkasunod lang sila, kumbaga hindi sila nag-iiwanan sa isa't isa. So, nandun pa rin yung accuracy. Hindi naman porke ibig sabihin, for example, storytelling ka. You know what, June? There's what we called creative nonfiction. So,
Yeah,
natutunan namin yan sa reportage that when you do creative nonfiction writing, hindi ibig sabihin na may element ka ng creativity tinatanggalan mo yung accuracy because it's really more on, 'di ba? On the dramatics of whatsoever. Hindi. Nandun yung creative writing niya pero hindi mo inaalis yung accuracy, whether it's a science-based or evidence-based, according to what you've gathered during the yung mga methods of data gathering mo, hindi mo siya yung objectivity mo when you gather data. So hindi sila kumbaga they work with each other. Hindi siya dapat ito lang at ito lang. So nagwo-work sila sa isa't isa at para magkaroon ka ng isang effective na report for public.
yeah. Based on your experience, what do you think, or what are the things that distinguish responsible environment journalism from sensational or advocacy-based reporting?
Um, ah, parang dito pa rin iikot kasi yung ano ba yung school of thought na
Yeah,
iyong kumbaga pinasukan bago ka maging isang tunay na journalist or isang media practitioner. Kasi doon yung papasok yung principles and values ng truth telling, yung principles and values ng fact checking. Hindi kasi dapat yun nawawala. At yung of course the largest bulk ng iyong duty or trabaho as a journalist is yung ethics, yung pagiging ethical and critical. ethical and critical, of course, that you're doing this for the sake and for the sake of people, yung kanilang para sa kanila yung ginagawa mo, yung loyalty mo sa citizen, hindi sa kahit sinong source or leader or those who are in power. So, yung tinatawag na responsible environmental journalism is still there. Nandun yung objectivity when it comes to what you gather the facts, 'di ba? Um yung sensationalism kasi depende yung kung sino yung kung sino yung sumusulat or gumagawa ng kwento. Sabi ko nga it depends on the school of thought. Kung paano mo siya nakikita ang journalism at kung gaano kahalaga ang journalism sa tunay na buhay. And yung sinasabi mo na advocacy-based reporting, actually we have what we call advocacy journalism, and it's I guess ito yung isa sa mga hindi masyadong hindi masyadong familiar pero napaka-effective. It's also same with the responsible journalism, because in advocacy journalism there's only one, I guess, one example of an advocacy journalism. When I'm still working with ABS-CBN before, there's a particular current affairs show called Crusada. Yung Crusada is a different documentary. Bakit? Hindi siya basta storytelling, wherein the journalist will present both sides. For example, the topic is all about mining in Palawan. Okay? So, present both sides. Merong nakikinabang sa pagmimina because nagbibigay ito ng jobs. Meron nakakapagpatapos ng pag-aaral. Yung isa naman lumalaban sa pagmimina kasi nasisira yung kanilang kabuhayan, yung kanilang kinabukasan. But at the end of the day, sa end ng story, may stand yung journalist. Kumbaga, kasi gone are the days na sinasabi mo na neutral eh. Hindi ka neutral as a journalist. You lead the people sa tama. Ano ba yung tama? So kung ito naman ay nakakasira sa pangmatagalan, baka pwedeng i-consider natin yung mga bagay na dapat nating itama. 'Di ba? Kahit na sabi mong panandalian lang, merong nakakahanap, may trabaho, but sira naman yung kinabukasan, yung future. So, may stand ang journalist. At I guess that's one best example ng advocacy journalism kasi may paninindigan. Ayun, that's the best term. May paninindigan yung journalist kung saan niya ililid ang kanyang audience sa tama. So, balancing everything, yung pagiging responsible and even the advocacy journalism.
All right. Um, I introduced you earlier as an educator, a faculty of CDC of UPLB. So, what, as a journalist, talking to the youth, not necessarily students of UPLB, what advice would you give to young journalists, if you're given the chance, who want to use their platforms for environmental advocacy?
Parang ang hirap kasi na isiset kaagad natin yung mind ng youth sa environmental journalism. Dapat sa journalism muna kasi doon naman nag-i-start eh. 'Di ba sa journalism when we try to study journalism, wala ka namang focus kaagad lagi eh. Whether pumunta ka sa business and finance, 'di ba? Finance reporting, you go for Senate, you go for Congress. Pare-pareho naman ang principles ng journalism yan eh. As long as you know how to write, comma, or not just know how to write but effectively. Okay. So, I guess the most important thing na advice for young generation or for the youth is really to read and read first. Kasi you really need to become a good storyteller. And if they want to pursue environmental journalism because of what they've seen, because of what they've heard, what they've read, for example, I guess doon papasok yun eh. Kusa yung lalabas na hindi siya pinipilit na ang i-cover mo ay environment. Iba-iba naman kumbaga, iba-iba naman ng hilig ang mga soon-to-be journalists. So kung gusto nilang ipurso tong ganito, nasa sa kanila yon. Pero if they want environmental journalism, there are a lot of challenges.
Yes.
that you will face aside from intrigues, aside from controversies, aside from legal actions na ihaharap sa inyo na for example ng mga makakabangga nyo or whatsoever. So, just be ready. But I guess you're well equipped, for example, with all the preparations for you to become a good journalist is really to be on the side of how can I say this? On the good side, on
Yes.
leading
Yes.
people to be good citizen at the end of the day.
All right, Mr. Stanley Gahete, thank you so much for sharing your time and your insights to our viewers. As we close this episode of Green Lens, we are reminded that journalism is not just about reporting facts, as Mr. Gahete has explained. It's all about inspiring responsibility and reflection. Each story we tell is a window into the realities of our environment and the resilience of our people. Through truthful reporting and compassionate storytelling, we can help communities see the deeper connections between human actions and nature's response. Let us continue to listen, learn, and act to a greener, more sustainable Philippines through the lens of truth and hope. This is your host, Juna Colador, reminding you that every story we tell carries the power to open minds and move hearts. Sa bawat ulat, boses at karanasang ibinabahagi natin may pagkakataong magbago para sa kalikasan, para sa komunidad at para sa kinabukasan. Let's continue to see the world through a green lens where journalism meets action and where awareness turns into hope. Meanwhile, maraming salamat sa inyong pakikinig at hanggang sa susunod na yugto, maging mapanuri, mapaging makalikasan at maging makatao. Maraming salamat po sa inyong lahat. Thank you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Gahete. Until the next time.